Thank you, Tom. Thank you very much for sharing those insights. Some of the numbers are pretty compelling. As you saw on Kathy's slide about measurable, tangible differences that this type of tool can bring to a mature business. Now with that, we're going to turn it over to Jay, who's going to actually give us a quick tour of Sage Service Operations. Jay, need 30 seconds? You're good to go?
I'm good. Just want to make sure it's on.
Awesome.
Thanks, Terry. Thanks, Tom. Thanks, Kathy. So I'll start. Just full disclosure, I am from Boston, so don't hold it against me. And if I talk too fast, just raise your hand. So today I'm going to talk a little bit about Sage Service Operations and then dive into a demo, but I'm going to spend a minute here and kind of go through a few slides. So what is Sage Service Operations? So it's an extension of your, we call it the Sage 300 or Sage 100 system, but it extends the functionality of your existing accounting system from the office and allows you to push that information in real time to your employees in the field. And then at the same token, your employees in the field can take that information and push it back into your accounting system. And it all actually runs off of the database in your office, that ERP system that we call Sage 300 or Sage 100. And that's the value of the solution. It's not a bolt-on solution. It actually runs off the database in your office, allowing you to, from start to finish, from entering time in the field, it flows all the way eventually through to payroll and all the way to job cost if needed. So a few things. It is cloud-based, so we obviously it has to get out to your technicians in some fashion. It's also device agnostic, so our solution works on tablets, smartphones, and we have what we call a responsive design. So depending on the type of tablet or the size of the screen, for instance, if I was here using my smartphone, I'd have big buttons I can push with my finger. If I was on a tablet, we try to use all of that screen real estate and really maximize the look and feel of the product. And obviously, if you're in the office using some of the features for the office, like the resource planner or the dispatch board, we maximize the use of that screen. And so quickly, I'll just kind of go through some of the architecture. How does this all play with the back-end accounting system, and what type of user within our organization can use this product? So essentially, you'll have your back-end accounting system sitting in your office, or a lot of people now have it hosted in the cloud. And via the cloud, we extend the functionality of that system to different types of employees or different types of roles. So obviously, the most prominent user is that field employee. And they can use this product to manage work orders in the field. They can use this to enter time for construction projects. They can use it to create a daily field report for a construction project. And we also have the ability to create and manage forms in the field. So we can create any type of form, capture information, and make that available to you in the office in real time. For the office staff, we have a few key features. We have that, that scheduling of work orders, scheduling of construction jobs. We have some time review functionality. We have mapping, so I can visualize where was my technician when they clocked in to this work order or construction job. Were they actually on site, or were they watching football at their house? And then we also have, Kathy had mentioned that sales process tool. So we have a solution really geared towards service organizations. So if I'm out, and I'll use an HVAC contractor as an example, but let's say I'm a technician performing quarterly preventative maintenance. I find there's a bad compressor on a rooftop unit. We have the ability to enable that employee in the field on the fly to take a picture of that issue and document and create a new record, just like a sales opportunity in Salesforce, and they can quickly pass it off to the office. So we know who found the issue, what work order were they on a weekend call, were they on a preventative maintenance call, and then we can track it all the way through to actually having somebody in the office send a finalized proposal out to the customer, and upon approval, we can, with the click of a button, essentially create a new work order within the system to go ahead and execute that work. And then finally, we have client portals. So let's say I'm a contractor, my customer is McDonald's. Maybe McDonald's wants to log in and have visibility into their work orders. Look up different information. We have a lot of roofing contractors that use this all the time because they need to share photos of the work they completed in the field. So they can create work orders, upload information. This is the client. Or when your technicians are out in the field and they upload a photo, they can share that with the client. So it goes both ways. Let's go see what's next. All right, so this is where I start my demo, I think. So, I'm just going to switch over to one other thing. Laptop. And I might do a lot of the sitting, so I apologize. And can you guys hear me okay if I don't use the mic? Okay. No, that works too, right? You like piano man? All right. Let's put this, and let's see if we can see this. All right. So what I'm going to do is talk. So a couple things. So we're at kind of we're in the middle of a significant release cycle for Sage Service Operations, and so the product is going through some updates, and I'm going to show you the pre-release environment because it's going to be available in the next couple of weeks. And note most of the functionality with this release. I'll talk for a little. So traditionally, SSO, I just wanted to kind of set the framework because I know that Tom and Kathy have been working, talking about technicians. What do our technicians and service team do in the field? It's actually, SSO is kind of going through a little revolution, or it's blossoming into additional functionality, because most of our customers today using Sage Service Operations are specialty contractors. And to me, what that means is I have some employees that will go out and replace a light bulb, and I could consider that service work. That's managed on a work order. But we have other employees within the specialty contractor that will go out and build a new building or install and do the initial installation, and that's considered a construction project. And that can have different cost codes and categories. But one issue we see across the board is that, the service department and the construction department are fighting for resources. There's no visibility to bridge the gap between the service department and the construction department. A project manager doesn't know if they can steal a technician to go start up a rooftop unit in the afternoon, and vice versa. So a lot of our development in the last year and going forward is really catering to not just the traditional service side, but also extending the functionality of SSO to provide visibility for your whole entire operation. So where are my employees? Are they on a construction job or a service job? And I want to be able to see that on one schedule. And at the same time, when the employees in the field, we want them with the same solution to be able to document their time and activity on one solution and not use two separate solutions. So I'm going to demonstrate a lot of that today. That's a big part of this release that's coming out in the next several weeks here. So kicking things off, I'm going to start off, if I was a business owner, what would I want to see, right? And kind of go through some of those slides. Or I'm actually in the product here. I'm actually running this off my hotspot, just to give you an idea of how smoothly the product runs. So hopefully it doesn't break on us today, and my battery doesn't run out. So Sage Service Operations, when I log in, we log in as a unique user. And when we log in, I'm actually logged in here as an administrator, so I have all of the bells and whistles turned on. I have full access to everything. If I was a technician in the field, I'm probably not going to see half of what I show you today. So I'm going to start off with, if I was in the office and I'm an office manager, what do I typically see? What can I do? And then I'll transition into, the day in the life of a field employee. What can they do on work orders, or what can they do on jobs? And talk a little bit about that, and then we'll open up to some Q&A. So here I'm starting on our dashboard. So I'd like to say the dashboard today is primarily geared towards your service team. What's the heartbeat of my service team? How many new work orders today? Why hasn't my billing department invoiced anybody today? And what would the value of those invoices be? Moving down, we have the ability to build custom views. We call them inquiries. So here I have one that's called the work order review. And when I build these inquiries, we can set them to automatically refresh. I can define what information is in each of these columns when I set it up, and I can also filter this information. So in this case, I think I only want to see the work orders that have been invoiced. Or I can, if I'm a salesperson in the organization, show me all of my clients and all of the work that we've done for my clients in the last 20 days. Or only show me the ones that have been completed so I can check my commission report. And we can show any type of information here, but in this case I'm just showing some high-level financial information. We could actually drill into this if we wanted to view all of those results. So it looks like these are all the results, and then I can search within that subset information, and I can also export that to Excel if that's desired. That functionality for those using the product today, this functionality is available today in the product. What's new and what's coming is the ability to layer on top of that inquiry some charts and be able to, we can have pie charts, graphs, we can have a matrix view, and then I can go ahead and drill directly into those results and see those entries, and then I can go ahead and export that to Excel. So once again, just to recap, this dashboard is customizable by the user. A salesperson may have their own look and feel and look at their own information, and if I'm a CEO, I might have some more high-level information on this dashboard. Moving on, we'll talk a little bit about some of the new scheduling features we have within the product today. And we have the ability to, let me go to my name here. So let's just go to Jay's team. So we've always had the ability to schedule a work order. And this functionality is available in the core accounting product, but we've also extended that functionality to Sage Service Operations. So if I make an update here in Sage Service Operations, it updates the back end in real time. So the individuals in the office looking at the schedule have flexibility. They can use either or. We do have a few enhanced features here. We have a weekly view, a daily view if I want to see what's just happening today. There's nothing on today's schedule. Here's a weekly view. We have a monthly view. And we also have an alternate day view. But diving a little deeper into the schedule, I have the ability to see my team members. I can set up, so every dispatcher, if you have 10 offices like Modern, each office can have their own customized view. Who do I want to see? And that view can include employees. It can include equipment. So if I need to track different assets like a welding machine or a front-end loader, is it assigned to a project? Yes or no, we have that visibility. And also my subcontractors. I can also have visibility to work orders. So if I need to schedule a work order, I just drag and drop it onto the employee for that day. Or if I need to drill into that day and specify a specific start and end time, I can do that here. But what's new, I'd like to show you guys, is our ability to schedule construction projects, which is really the hallmark of this release. So here I'm looking at Northwest Food Warehouse, and I can actually pull up multiple construction projects at once and have visibility into both of those. So in this case, I'm showing on the screen here 2 separate construction jobs. And let's say I'm a project manager, I'm managing both of these jobs. I have the availability to see what's the total estimate, what's the total number of hours labor-wise we're estimating for this project, what's the actual hours incurred to date, and what's our delta, what's left in the schedule. So I have a sense of how much labor we need to throw at this project. We can also narrow this down, and I can dive, so we have this call here for Fort Wayne. Let's say I only wanted to see the resources allocated to that project. So I only want to see the crew members, or we call them team members, and assets that are dedicated to that project. If I click on this eye here, it's going to automatically change my view to show me, okay, it's 03-003. These are my employees that are assigned just to this project. And what I can do is I can go ahead and assign an activity to these employees. So I have Jose here. This first employee has nothing for the week here. So I'm going to go ahead and schedule the final cleaning cost code for Monday. Oops. I did that right. So let's go ahead and do coordination. All right. So I just scheduled coordination for Monday, which didn't want to work. Oh, no, why? Because I'm pulling from the wrong list. He's on that team. So here's Jose. And I just scheduled him on an activity for Monday. And that's an assignment. And so now Jose has visibility on his smartphone. He knows that he's supposed to go out and do the final cleaning. Now, let's say I'm a project manager, and I know that Jose is going to be doing this for the whole entire week. I don't want to drag and drop one at a time, on this view. So I just want to, just like Excel, we can drag and drop and extend out that schedule for the week and create an assignment for each day for Jose. So now he has an activity for each day, and when Jose's in the field, or any employees in the field, I'm going to pivot a little bit here, but they'll see what we call their weekly time card. And this is a little bit busy because I've been doing a lot of demos this week. But the assignments page is what I call, this is unique to Jose, or that employee in the field. This is their weekly timesheet. And this is, I'll make this a little bit larger here. This is a tablet view. So we break it down by day of the week, Monday, Tuesday, and we have activities. So on Tuesday, I had 2 separate construction projects I was working on, and I also had 2 separate work orders that I was assigned. So we have both construction jobs and work orders in the same solution. I can also view this on a smartphone. So if I was on a smartphone, it's going to look a little bit like this. So when I log in, we reposition the activity buttons to the bottom of the screen. And I can come down to today. Today's Thursday. And I can see that I have an assignment here. This one's completed. I'm actually going to go back to the dispatch board and assign something to this employee because I'm logged in as Dathan and not Jose. So let me just go ahead and go to my jobs here. Let's schedule out exterior signs for Dathan for Thursday. So I'm just creating a new assignment for a construction project to install the exterior signs. Now I'm going to log in as Dathan as if Dathan was on a smartphone or a tablet in the field. So I'll just refresh this here. So if I come down to Thursday, and I can do that a couple ways, I only want to toggle to today, so I just want to see Thursday. So I can see that new assignment here, it's open, and I can go ahead and I can drill into that assignment. And I have the ability to go ahead and I can do a few different things here as that person in the field, but I can go ahead and punch in and punch out on my call to capture time. When we do that, we're capturing, the GPS location on that mobile device. We have awareness. Where was, this employee when they clocked in and clocked out of that call? We can track lunch breaks. We can track breaks. We could really lock this down and force them to punch in and punch out, or we can open it up and let them specify their start and end time. They can also, when they clock in, we can also let them punch in and punch out with details. So they could capture additional information here. They could, if you want, we could enable it so they can change their cost code. Maybe I'm not working on this. Maybe I'm doing the rough plumbing today. So we could let them modify their cost code on the fly if you want to, or we can lock that down. It's all about how do we deploy this system to meet your internal workflow at your organization.
So Jay,
yes?
it's really hard to see from back here.
Oh,
all right. Make it a little bit bigger.
Sorry. What's I can do here?
So feel free to move up, folks. There's more chairs over
Yeah,
here.
so if I start with details, you can see I have the option to select a different work cost code if needed. So I just wanted to, once again, just touch on some of the new features that we have. I'll do this from a tablet view, not a smartphone view, and I think that might help. All right, so I'm on a tablet view. And I'm just going to touch on the construction job, what can we do, and then I'm going to jump into more service-oriented workflow. So we can also, as a construction job manager, I can create daily field reports. So if I was to drill into an existing field report or create a new one, we can identify who's creating the field report, and I can generate that field report. And this allows us to capture additional information, like I can capture notes, I can capture labor information. These are all my activities on the left-hand side. I can capture production units, so how many feet of pipe did we install today? I don't have this set up properly, but I can identify the cost code for those production units and what did we do. Exit out of that. So we have a lot we can do with as a superintendent or a foreman in the field. We can also take photos, attach photos to the construction project and complete forms. And I'll go over forms in a little bit, but a form would be the ability to maybe I have a safety checklist, right? Before we go on the roof, we have to make sure our safety glasses are on. We can go through and fill out that form, and I'll show you how we do that in a moment here. We also have some advanced time review capability coming out in the new release, and I'll just touch on that shortly. But you're going to be able to set up time review workflows. So for those customers that are working on both construction jobs, work orders, you'll have the ability to say, okay, if this time that was entered by Jose in the field is for a construction job, first have the construction project manager approve it, and then have the office approve it. But if he's working on just a work order, we can ignore that project manager sign off and jump right to the office. And we can also set this up by group. So if you have an office in multiple cities, each city or each group can have a different workflow for that approval process. And groups is a concept we have throughout the product. It actually runs, so you can have an electrical team or a plumbing team. And it can define how they work, not just from the time review functionality, but from how do they manage work orders. It can control a lot of those back-end settings as to what's required on the work order and how do they complete their work in the field. Because we do understand that different teams and different branch offices do work differently. All right, so that was kind of a high-level overview, and I jumped into a little bit of the details of the product. But I'm going to kind of take a step back, and I'm going to go into the product as if I am a typical user of the product today with the existing functionality, and I'm going to create a work order from SSO. You can also create the work order in this Sage accounting product. So I'm going to create a work order. I'm going to assign it to an employee in the field. And then I'm going to show you as an employee, how do I go into that work order, enter my notes, record my time, complete a form, capture a photo. And then we'll show you how we can submit our timesheet and talk about some of the other bells and whistles of the product. So I'm logged in here. I just went to a different environment. And I want to go ahead and search for a customer. So how can I do that? It's pretty simple. I can search by keyword, search by the name of the customer, or I can just simply start typing in the address. Or if I know the address, kind of like Google, I can type in part of the name and then just start typing in the address. And it's going to bring up the best results. So I'm going to go ahead and pick Bank of America in Boston, my hometown. And so when I drill into Bank of America, I can see everything that has to do with this one specific address here, 100 Federal Street in Boston. And on the left-hand side, we have all of our different types of information we can view. Here, I have 48 work orders. So the blue area that's highlighted, that defines what is being shown in this panel here on the right-hand side. So if I needed to generate a work order, I can click on the work order button. For those of you that need to track assets, so let's say you're a sprinkler or a fire alarm contractor, you can see all of your devices. Or if you're a plumber, you can see all those backfill preventers that are installed for that client, that location. You can actually drill into those specific asset and see all of the activity for that one asset. So I drilled into a 10-ton rooftop unit here for Carrier. And I can see all of the details for this one specific asset. So to recap, first I was on Bank of America, but then I drilled into a specific asset installed at Bank of America in Boston. And I can see, the make, model, and serial number. When did we install this asset? When's the warranty end? I can also see the history. So show me all the work orders for this one specific rooftop unit. This is really important, especially if you have a 50-story building with, hundreds of pieces of client equipment at that location. This allows you to quickly dial in and see only the history for that one piece of equipment. I can see notes. Are we sharing notes? We usually see the technician, if you're an HVAC contractor, they'll say, hey, I left a spare belt in the blower compartment. Usually, historically we always see, whether it's a generator or equipment, they'll write down the filter list on the panel, right? A lot of our customers don't want to do that because that's kind of giving the shopping list to your competition, so they know everything that's going on with that piece of equipment, where the switches are. This way you can lock away all that information in your accounting system, and so it's only for your eyes and in your technician's eyes. I can see some of my PM tasking. I can see any attachments for this piece of equipment. Your wiring diagrams can go here, or if you have a roof layout, roofing contractors they'll actually store their a layout of the whole entire roof after the project is complete, so they can see where all the seams are and all that fun stuff. But let me just go back to Bank of America. Let's kind of move on. Let's go ahead and generate a new work order from scratch here. So I'm going to go ahead and generate a new work order. and I can go ahead and pick a different criteria. So today I just want to stress I'm showing this product. This demo is on the 300 product. The 100 product has a little different feel. Kerry and his team can help you. If you guys are looking at either 100 or 300, they offer different features depending on the type of contractor you are. So, but the overall look and feel and 30,000 foot functionality is the same with both products. But we have the ability to manage or track revenue and expenses by center. We call them a center. That could be a branch office. It could be my plumbing team versus my construction team. So that helps you, really track those profits by profit center. We can select all different types of information here. I can identify a piece of equipment. Moving on, we can also customize all of your types of work. We call them problem codes. So what am I working on today? So I'm going to say I'm working on a fire alarm inspection. And I can go ahead and create a note. So client called. All right, so I'm just going to put in a basic note. This is the client calling, the fire alarm's going off. We can also use what we call canned responses. So we have canned responses or canned messages throughout the product. They're usually right above the note fields, and you can predefine messaging here. So I just put in the NTE 100 and had that message automatically populate there. So let's go ahead and use this work order. So I'm going to go ahead and generate this work order, and I'm assigning it to myself on the fly. I could go and assign it on the dispatch board if needed, but to speed things up, I'm going to assign it to myself. So if I go back to my weekly time card, that view me as an employee, I could go down to Thursday, and I can see I have that work order assigned for Bank of America. I have visibility into the schedule. It's supposed to be there between 10 and 12. I can see the high-level notes. What am I going there for? That doesn't make sense, but just as an example. So let me go ahead and drill into this work order and show you what we can do on this work order. So, and first I'm going to go through and do what I would do as a technician, and then I'll later on show you what can the office do with this page. And I just want to point out, on the left-hand side we have all of our activities. There are a ton of buttons here. And that's only because I'm logged in as a office person, as an administrator. If I was a technician, this list would be really slimmed down to only what they need to see. Okay? So first I want to, if we need to, I'm going to identify wrong button. I'm going to pick the equipment I'm working on. All right, so let's just say I'm working on that 10-ton carrier rooftop unit. So save that. Now I want to go ahead and, actually the first thing I should do is punch into my call, right? Because I want to get paid. So I'm going to start myself on this ticket. Let's talk about payroll. So we do support punch in and punch out. And when we do that, punch in, punch out, we're capturing the start and end times. So it's working. Good. So we're capturing the start and end times. But some people don't want punch in and punch out. Some people would rather see, allow the employees to just simply identify, I worked for 2 hours on this call, and it's overtime, or it's regular time. So we have flexibility both ways. We tend to see that more of the residential contractors cater to the punch in and punch out and really lock down the system, whereas more of the commercial contractors, they tend to have a little more flexibility with how they apply payroll. So payroll is another subject for another day, as far as all the checks and balances we have and all the different ways to enter that. But we do have a lot of different ways, and I think we cater to most every workflow required for most of our clients. So I punched into that call. Let's go ahead and identify some parts that I used on this call. So I'm going to add a part. And when I look up parts, I can search by part number, manufacturer, AKA. So I'm just going to go ahead and put in THHN, right? Some standard wire. Pick the wire I want. And I can go ahead and say 1. And we also, if you turn on some of our more advanced inventory functionality, we can let them see, hey, we have 259 feet of wire in stock. I'm going to save that. Move on. Let's go ahead and add some miscellaneous items. So we can have, in this case, I have predefined miscellaneous items. So let's say I'm using a welding machine. We want to make sure that welding machine gets charged back to the customer. We can do that. In the background, when we set up that welding machine in the core accounting system, I can say, every time we use this welding machine, bill the customer $100. and automatically create a cost transaction of $25. So throughout the product, and I'll get into that in a little bit, I'll talk a little bit about how we can help automate that billing process with rate sheets. If we have tasking, we can complete tasking. This is our basic standard tasking that we have in the system, so if we needed to go check A, B, C, and D, we can do that. We also have a whole entire tasking module built in, which allows us to have drop-downs, multiple choice, things of that nature, and actually input data like what's the temperature of the water. Now I want to go ahead and add some notes. So when I add a note here, we have two types of notes that are really used by our customers. The top note, we call it the work performed note. That is really the note that is seen by the customer. And a lot of people use this note on the receipt that the customer signs, so that tells the story of what did I do. But they'll also have that note automatically populate the invoice to help cut down on data entry in the field. So that note is serving two purposes, the receipt and the invoice. And we also have those canned messages here, so I just went ahead and added that canned message. A lot of people like the canned messaging because they can put in, hey, I replaced the filters and belts. And then they can put in a canned message with, hey, hope you enjoyed your service. If you have any questions, call the office at 123. And you can also build in like some marketing messages and things of that nature. And then my favorite canned message, I want to let my boss know that I'm available for overtime tonight. So this bottom note, the office note, that's really for internal messaging purposes. And when I save that note, I want to email my dispatcher because I don't want to waste the time picking up the phone, calling them. It's a simple message. They can have awareness immediately via email. So I save that note. That note is now in the accounting system, and it's available to you for you to see. But it's also here. I can go ahead and add more notes or tweak them if I need to. All right. Next, let's go ahead and take a picture. And let's go ahead. Let's say there was whatever. Maybe it's a change order, or we found a bad compressor, or vandalism. I need to document something on site. I have the ability to do that and add that photo to the work order. So I'm going to go ahead. If I was on a smartphone or a device that had a camera, we have awareness of the type of device, and we would say, there'd be a pop-up that says, do you want to take a photo now? You hit yes, and it would automatically load up the camera. In this case, I'm doing this from my laptop, so I'm going to manually upload a picture. And you can also have canned messaging to build consistency into the titles of those photos to help you search for them. What else did I say with this? I don't know. We can upload multiple at one at a time, so let me just go ahead and choose a file here. Pick a picture, open, and I'm going to add that attachment. So that attachment now is uploaded. It's in the system. I can see it down here. Now, let's say this was, I'm a roofing contractor, and I need to show where that HVAC contractor put the hole in the roof, right, when they stepped on their screw. So let's go ahead and identify that for the customer. So I'm going to go to my sketch solution here, and I have the ability to take a photo now, and I can mark up that photo from the field. And this sketch functionality works on construction projects, so you can attach photos to construction projects and do this, and on work orders. And a lot of our functionality works on both sides, so I can go ahead and say, this is where the issue is, and I can go ahead and save that as a PDF, and if we need to, we email to the office, but it lives with that work order record or that job record, that sketch, that photo I just took from the field. So I'm going to go ahead and show you what that looks like. So if I go down here to attachments, I can see that I have a second document here on attachments. It's a sketch. And there's that sketch. As you can see, we're identifying everything on, let me zoom in here. But we like to document everything, so we know where was this, and oh, this is the piece of equipment in question. All right. So that's kind of the sketch functionality. But let's go ahead now, and I'm going to clock out of my call and have the customer sign up for my ticket because I want to go home. It's late. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to suspend my call. All right. So that's just going to prompt me. And what we're doing is we're suspending the call. So if I go to my hours here, I have visibility. I worked 0.11 hours. So that was automatically calculated based on that start and end time. We can also automatically calculate overtime if that's desired. So I can say after X number of hours in one day or X number of hours in 1 week, automatically change the type of pay from regular time to overtime for all those hours. So we have a lot of that advanced functionality if needed, just wanted to touch on that. Now that was, I should be punch in, punch out. I'll show you. What if I wanted to have a little more flexibility and let my employees just add their time? We can go add labor here, and I can put in 4 hours, and I can save that labor. A lot of people like to do this because right here I have my cost hours. We can also enable a second block here that says billable hours. So we do have, especially our commercial contractors, they'll go into jobs on a Saturday where there's a 4-hour minimum. Maybe there's a 4-hour, maybe I need to bill the customer for 4 hours, but I only want to get paid for 2 hours. Some customers want to put that responsibility on the in-field employees, so we can really open the system up and give them that flexibility if need be, or we could really lock it down and enforce that punch in and punch out. So I'm just going to save a few more hours there. All right? And this information right now, everything that I've entered, and everything that we see here, this is all sitting in your accounting system, in Sage 100 Contractor or Sage 300. So if you were in a traditional on-prem accounting system, you could run reports right now, real time, and have real-time visibility into what was done up to the minute. So this is not, it's stored in some server in who knows where. This is stored with your other data. It's all in the same location and available to your organization. So you can make good decisions. Now, let's go ahead and, you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to do my safety checklist, right? So let's go ahead and do that. So I can go to reports here, and let's just go ahead and do my safety check. And these could be anything. These could be preventative maintenance checklist, customer satisfaction surveys, but these are any types of information you want to capture from your customer in the field. And they could have check boxes. We could just key in some information here. We can capture signatures. So in the US, what we do is, we have this, I'm sure you're aware of OSHA in the US. It's the Occupational Safety Board. And they like to perform inspections, and they want to make sure, every crew member went through their safety debriefing before they go on the roof. So in this case, what a lot of US companies do is they'll have 20 blocks here. If they have 20 guys in the crew, and they'll each employee just hand around the tablet, sign off that you